consideration of past Dynasty songs we've been introduced to together here, I feel Waterfall is a bit of an individual standing, certainly on name. I've not come across many songs that go by that title. And I find Waterfalls to be quite pleasant and serene. I mean, unless you're riding down one. Just on visuals, maybe at a distance, it's quite beautiful, especially when you consider it a larger landscape. Not to derail too much, but Dynasty, from my experience in terms of being 9 tracks into my introduction, right, or this being the 8th in full, their music takes on more of an aggressive path. Maybe, they navigate different moods in part. Maybe some take on a more tragic veneer, or tragic, or maybe more cathartic, challenged, right? So something so natural and hospitable maybe come across as a bit disruptive. But I'm sure with Dynasty, their individual vision will be quite well managed. They've been a delight to humor thus far. Many of you know I've been taking a self-excursion of sorts as I do many different types of artists, especially on the European line. And for another Swedish talent, I'm not surprised at all that they deliver. And my point of entrance in terms of connection, right, as I said before, Nils Molin, their frontman, right, being privy to other projects he's been involved with, whether it be with Ad Infinitum for that Afterlife song, which is always just a killer replay, or Amaranth, who I also love. I knew Dynasty would be promising. And with a staple presence in the heavy metal, power metal vibe, I find it instantly attractive. Again, since my first entrance with a selection of works chosen via Fire Sign, and now where we currently sit with The Dark Delight. I still love that name. It's just so enamoring, again, on a foreboding sense, which this track is serving as the conclusion of the selection I've determined, and we're going to our journey's not finished with Dynasty, and as far as I'm concerned for the eventual future, door is open. I can't wait for new stuff, or anything more, really. We're going to have at least 6 more entrances on behalf of the new album of what I've currently lined up in consideration. So, this journey doesn't end soon, but it's concluding at least on the 2nd chapter right now. But so far, 8 tracks in, it's been wonderful to humor them alongside you and get an introduction for a staple Swedish talent. Let's add on one more through Waterfall and see how distinct the vision is here. Maybe if it plays again to that familiar Dynasty vibe. And if this is your first introduction, again, I set a baseline for you in terms of maybe some points of familiarity of approach that you can expect. If you're a metal fan, I think it's going to easily jive with you. And maybe some of you approach again on a familiar basis. I know probably a number of you do, and I welcome your company. But for fresh entrances, we're going to enjoy this mutually together, as I love to do with music. Just to enjoy work and company and fellowship to one another. It's not the same to experience music in isolation, though it's fine. It's just not... It doesn't have the potency that enjoying it with others does, especially for someone like me who does feel particularly isolated, as I've said many times, in terms of my music tastes. I just don't have that much connection in my personal life in regards to metal. I've been a metalhead of a number of years, and there's not much connection. And certainly on the European regard, there's no adjacency. I wish there were. With many of you, though, that's been a fun filling the void, as an honor to humor such talents with you like Dynasty. Let's build it out one last round on the Dark Delight. The official music video, I'm going to go ahead and launch that, and we can be introduced to Dynasty yet again for another fun ride, I'm sure. Here we go. I like the aesthetics on the opener. Felt like an in-review video again from years past. They're bringing at that classic metal years history type ride. Nice launch. The shower's a good comparison of an image to bring in. Good drive. Again, I love that intense metal route. It's been a delight here with them. Nice. The dark roots. I love that. With the force and the precision. So welcoming. Whenever that higher inflection's brought in again, such a charm point of Nils. What rooted him again is a particular singer in my mind that I've never been able to forget about since I was first introduced. And I'm sure for a number of you it's the same. Good mixing on that half of the notes there on that one final overhaul line. That worked quite well. Again, when those roots kick in, man. I can see at least part of what the song's driving at, given the name of the video. I think it still has a broad application. I admire that catharsis in music. I like the path of the song, though, at least in intention, or potential intention. And the image of a waterfall fits. Again, I love this classic metal root. Nils is just so equipped at manifesting this. You know, songs have generous application, right? Depending on the subjective experiences of the viewer, and I love that broad field, if permitted, right? I could see a number of paths this flows down concerning the video in terms of the articulation of the illustration, in particular mainstay rock themes and stuff in the metal vein, for sure. Again, of a more cathartic route. I feel that waterfall is such a great term, right? As an idea of a purity enactor of sorts, or in a restorative simulator to return to innocence amidst life tribulations. Again, I think the song is written broadly, and I respect that. I just like the idea, again, you know, I like how it's pictured here, too. I mean, they could have gone and sat underneath a waterfall. That might have been hard to at least capture on camera, because, I mean, you're dealing with how much water, so what's the next best thing? A shower head. It's a good compromise, I think, because it kind of, again, stresses the image. Well, you can still get it on tape without having too much of a disrupted image of, what am I looking at underneath the pool of falling water? Oh, wait, where'd Nils go? Flowing down the stream. I know that'd be kind of funny. For his sake, you know, I'm probably glad they didn't do that. But, I mean, that would be like an authentic perception for sure. But the image of a waterfall still is easily communicated, if maybe to a bit of a lesser tier. And it still has that resonance, at least in application, where you consider, again, the idea, well, water is a symbol, notably of, you know, as I said many times, and to Dynasty's credits and past entrances with their work, all the content I produce on this channel, I do at some level operate from a Christian foundation. It's just the way that I was raised, and it is my particular faith of belief construction. So for me, I think of water in the symbology of what's been popularized, right, in literature or scripture, and it is seen, again, as like a purity restorative agent. That's a whole, let's say just as an example, the idea of, you know, baptism, for example, is a practice, right? What one gets, for lack of a better term, dunked underneath a bunch of water, and it's seen as a cleansing agent, right, of one's sins. So playing around with that image, you could extend it to other places as well. I know it's a, you know, water as an image has that same type of vibe in every place. I'm just picking at least one just off the top of my head. Bringing that into the song with the This is just a connection maybe that I noticed. Maybe, you would disagree, right? Music is, again, like I said, a subjective experience. The poignant references with, like, for example, I see, like, the alcohol. And I myself, have said many times I took a vow, or a self-led vow many years ago to maintain a life of abstinence, just based on personal choice. I don't ever see myself drinking, other than maybe on specific occasions I have identified in this channel, but a very rare and probably not likely to happen endeavors. I left a door open. I mean, I would drink responsibly, but it's just because, I'm a very cautious person. But I've heard plenty of stories in regards to the metal atmosphere. Alcohol and drinking, right? It is something that has mixed in terms of, I would say, a, expression oftentimes amongst many metal fans, right? It's a common thing. So when you bring it up, at least in the imagination of the video, and you pair the image of a waterfall, I kind of see it again maybe as sort of like a restorative process of somebody in that challenging season of perhaps addiction, right? I don't know if, again, that's what the video is pointing to directly, but it's just something that I picked up on. I mean, it seemed kind of deliberate to introduce it. Maybe you see other things in the video, for sure. Maybe there's other messages communicated. Again, music approaches us, very differently, perhaps from time to time, if permitted, right? But on illustration, it's fun. It certainly has a connective mood. On energy, again, it has that hard riff backing and the metal emphasis. Easily attractive, but it still has a sentimentality of approach. I like the key choice. I love the fact that they changed again, which is popular in the Swedish metal landscape to have a key change, certainly towards the end of a song. I love how it's integrated sort of again as the outro closure. That was particularly unique in that it wasn't necessarily dictated prior to, but it was a clearly intentional choice. Good structure, good body to it, fun personality, and great vocal delivery from Nils, as always. He always impresses, again, with that higher inflection. I've become quite a fan, as I know many of you probably are as well. To whatever regard you might provide, Amaranth, Dynasty, other appearances, he's always a signature delight and an entertainment for sure, just on isolated standing. But to bring in Dynasty in terms of the entire group's focus, I've loved what I've humored together with you. It's been a fun journey thus far, and we're not going to end. More to come, as I said. But I'd love to hear your thoughts down below of Waterfall, in terms of perspective and the angle of approach you take. Longtime fan, fresh listener, I'd love to hear about it down below. Next up is, I believe, the album. Let me get this credited right, because this is wrapping up, again, our journey through The Dark Delight. In terms of a selection, I believe in present lineup, Final Advent is next. And a good selection of works there. I believe 6 tracks in total. I can't wait to venture down that path with you. It's been a delight in terms of getting an introduction to Dynasty together to make good, on continuing the presence of talented vocalists like Nils and other groups in the European rock and metal foray. I love going down that self-led journey, and I love hearing music with you in mutual respect, being introduced perhaps together. Dynasty has been a delight to humor. I'm sure many of you would agree, including with Waterfall, another fabulous addition to our library. I'm looking forward to humoring more with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.